While in elementary school, were you ever called names like giraffe, beanpole, flamingo, olive oil, lizard? How do you think that would affect your later years? My guest today was able to not only overcome the negative effects that those hurtful words would have caused her, but actually became a successful model and now an actor in faith-based films. Her story here on Faith on Film. Hello and welcome to Faith on Film. Today my program is going to take a little bit of a different twist because normally I talk to my guests about, their journey into Christian filmmaking and some of the projects that they're involved in. But today I'm going to add a little bit of a different twist to it, and that is we're going to talk a little bit about bullying because my guest today was harassed terribly when she was in grammar school, when she was growing up. How did that affect her? That's what we're going to find out today. Let me introduce her real quickly here for you. Jeannie was born in Miami, Florida, to Cuban immigrant parents. After years of seeking fame and taking some time off to nurture her beautiful new family, she is now pursuing a higher calling to bring hope and encouragement through the gift of acting and performing. She is now represented by Treasure Coast Talent and has since had the honor of appearing in Princess Cut 2 and 3, Assassins 33 AD, and a soon-to-be-revealed Christian sitcom pilot. I wonder if she could reveal it here on our program today. And several other TV series appearances. Jeannie Garcia, welcome to Faith on Film.
It's great to be here.
Well, thank you. In the teaser today, I mentioned names that you were called when you were in grammar school, when you were a young lady. Normally, we like to talk about films and how you got into films, but I really want to deal with that a little bit because I know that had an effect on your career and your life overall. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, kids don't have a filter, and when I was young, I was very thin and tall, and my parents were, they came from Cuba. We didn't have the means for the latest trends, and so I just looked odd a lot, and I was called all kinds of names like giraffe, and it was hurtful. Actually, let me rephrase that. It wasn't hurtful only because I just thought it was normal, and I came from a loving family, so I really felt loved by them. But I didn't realize how much until many years later, what it did to me inside and how it began to define me because I didn't know who I was.
Oh, one of the things that has been happening a lot nowadays is that a lot of young kids are actually taking their own lives because of some of this bullying and people calling them names. And of course, with Facebook and with all the social media now, it's so easy to just make this thing go, really wild. What would you say maybe to a young girl or a young man really who is facing this kind of situation?
Yeah, we are all just so beautifully made by God. And every time somebody says something that is to be hurtful and to hurt, we always have to remember that the people that say hurtful things are the ones who are probably hurting the most, and we have to understand that and not allow those kinds of people to tell us who we are. On the contrary, the way that we respond to it may help them come out of something that's just very ugly.
Wow. So you, I guess, technically used that to motivate you in a different way. What happened there?
Now, I'm sorry?
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, as far as it relates to me and that childhood growing up hearing those things, basically I became very self-conscious. It was very paralyzing in the sense that, for example, when I went into middle school, when girls were already developing and I was not, and I was, again, still very thin. I didn't audition for dance because I didn't want to be seen in the leotard. I wore my brother's oversized jackets in the hottest Miami days just because I did not want to be seen. And it was just, I was very self-conscious. That's how it manifested in me.
But you actually then became a model.
My parents saw that I was very shy and inhibited like that, and so they put me into modeling school. And for the first time, I felt accepted as far as appearance. I found a place where they saw me as beautiful, and then I began to now validate myself by their acceptance, and it kind of turned my insecurity into this false sense of security.
Why do you say a false sense of security?
Because when you get compliments from people because of your beauty, a lot of times we want to it makes us feel good, but in reality, we have nothing to do with that. First of all, God made us, and it's superficial. Beauty fades, and that is not what we should place our value in. I
see. Yeah. So you found yourself actually just dealing with your physical beauty, but still your emotional character was still kind of not quite where it should be?
I would say it's fragile in the sense that when I was younger, I was defined by the bad words. When I was older as a model, I was defined by the good words that were beautiful and gorgeous and that sort of stuff. In any of those cases, being defined by the good or the bad, it revealed a fragile state of spirit and sense of self that is ordained by God, not by other people's approval or disapproval.
So you were at first affected by the bad word, then the good word, and at some point though you got the God word.
Yes.
And that's where things really began to turn around for you, right?
Yes, I was at the peak of my career. I had just shot Spanish Maxim and Cosmopolitan. I know that sounds horrible, but at that, in that industry as a model, Victoria's Secret is where you want to go,
Right.
And it's all about sexuality and lust, and that is where I was headed. It's so prominent in Hollywood, and it's so accepted, and it's desired by many in the magazine stands. But in reality, it's not what God created us for. And when I began to read the Bible, and I started to look at things that applied to me, and just reading the book of Matthew, I came across a verse that Jesus talked about lust, and he said to a man, if a man looks at a woman with lust, he's committing adultery in his heart. And it raised that concept of lust and what it is for.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a little break right now, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more then about what happened after you got saved and how your life began to turn around a little bit, and then from there, how you got involved in faith-based films, all right?
Yes.
Terrific. We'll be right back.
Sunflowers. To pollinate and reproduce, they turn and face the sun. Nature's way of reminding us that for ultimate growth, we must seek the light. Parables. The leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
I wonder if penguins have knees. I wonder how many colors we can't see. I wonder why there's so many stars in the universe. I wonder if we ever looked like apes.
You want to find out?
I wonder if puppies have belly buttons.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with Jeannie Garcia, who has been telling us a great story about what it was like growing up. But at some point, you got saved. You found the Lord. What happened after that?
Well, I gobbled up those scriptures. The Bible just was water to a thirsty soul, and I began to be renewed in myself, and just I feel like it's really true when they say the blinders are peeled off. I saw the world in a different way, and my career, like I said, it's very much about lust and being sexy, and that was exactly where I had been at in my career. And I thought, maybe I can change my image and do certain things, maybe say no to certain things. And I just felt it was very hard to go against the current, and I would get, and I just would see the reaction. What do you mean you don't want to wear this, or you don't want to do that? And I just didn't like it, and I just decided to walk away from all of it, all that I had worked so hard for. I just said, you know what, God, if this is not going to honor you, I don't want to do it.
Was that a tough decision to make, though? Because I'm sure you must have been doing fantastic at it, and suddenly to feel like you have to give it up.
It wasn't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go
Cubans.
I'm married to a Puerto Rican, which is very similar to Cubans, so I'm used to it.
I know.
No, go ahead.
Anyway, so no, it wasn't hard for me. It was almost surreal. I just felt it was almost a spirit-led decision. I just did it, and I really didn't think much about it. It was a little weird. I felt like I let go of a big part of my life, but I don't know. I just moved ahead.
And do you feel like it's been the right decision?
Well, I mean, it was the right decision only because I was just following God and growing in faith and just taking the next step. And I started my family, got a not normal job. Every job is. I just got a job, but then we moved up from Miami to West Palm. We started a business for my husband, and I focused on that and my children. I have two beautiful girls, and years passed, and I never thought that I would ever be back interviewing with Isaac Hernandez.
Right. This is the highlight of your career.
I made it.
Okay, so you gave up your modeling career. You gave up, what could have, I guess, been a future career in films, secular films, perhaps. But suddenly you find yourself in Christian films. How did that transition happen?
Well, one random morning, I heard a voice that was very vivid, and I have never heard a voice that is not the kind of thing that I've ever experienced. And it said, "Follow your dreams." And I didn't do much about it. I just thought that was kind of cool, weird, okay. And then a couple of days later, or around that same amount of time, around that same time, I was painting a mural in my daughter's bedroom, and I heard a commercial for the first time that mentioned modeling and acting for Christ.
Okay.
Which just kind of caught my attention. But it wasn't until I went to go get my car serviced on my way to vacation that within our conversation, this man who is a strong believer, he said to me, "When I see you, I see lights." It was almost prophetic. And when he said that, I just started to cry because I knew that it didn't come from him. It came from God. And that was the third confirmation that I had. And as soon as I got to my vacation, I told my friends, God is calling me back. And within the same amount of time, again, I was tagged on a post about a movie that was auditioning in Wellington, which was on Fortune Way, the audition. It's the same street that the auto body shop is on Fortune Way. The film is about a man who was in a car accident and lost his eyesight. And my uncle had just lost his eyesight from a car accident. He was on a motorcycle, but a car hit him and he lost his eyesight. So, I mean, Isaac, all I could do was just cry. We would pray on set and I would just fall on my knees because I couldn't stand just in prayer, because I was so humbled by how God can take, you give up your dreams for God and he will give you his plan for you, and if it involves your dream, which most likely it does, he gives us the desires of our heart, right? When we follow him. And to see that he gave this to me, he gave me the lead role in the film. And not only that, I had songs in a journal that I had never done anything with. And I somehow just asked the director if he needed music. And he said, let's show it to the music director. And sure enough, they had me write the theme song. So I wrote and performed the theme song and also 2 other originals that were sitting in my journal. So that's just what God does.
So that was your first film?
That was the first one, yes.
You know what? I know what film that is. I'm very good friends with the director, and that is the first place that I saw you and was very impressed actually with what I saw. What's the name of the movie?
Open My Eyes.
Open My Eyes. We do have that, by the way, on Parables, so you can go watch it on Parables TV. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some of the things that you are currently working on, or even some of the other films that you've been in. Now, I know that you are part of a sitcom pilot. It said on your bio, soon to be revealed. Will you be able to reveal it here yet?
I cannot. I'm sorry. I really wish I could.
Well, you know what? We're probably going to have to have you come back when you're already able to reveal it, and we're going to find out what that is. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
I never realized how much work goes into taking care of horses.
You think that's hard? Try taking care of thousands of animals at the same time.
Go ahead. Think bigger.
Cell reproduction, more than duplication. It's careful selection and organization, ensuring the perfect balance for development and growth. Powerful, so is our programming. Parables, the leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
I wonder how long a dolphin lives. I wonder if they can make cookies in space. I wonder when people started brushing their teeth. I wonder if people and dinosaurs ever lived together.
Want to find out?
I wonder how much a cloud weighs.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with my great friend, Jeannie Garcia. Jeannie, so that was your first film that we talked about on the second segment there, but you've done many other films. Can you tell us about what some of the other films that you've done since then?
Well, I'm not sure about many, but I'm certainly on God's path here.
Uh-huh.
After our film was featured at the International Christian Film Festival, I met Jean from Treasure Coast Talent, who became she's now my agent. And through her, I have had the opportunity to be a part of films. Number one that we filmed last year was Assassins 33 AD.
Okay.
I played, I was able to speak Hebrew, which was very exciting for me. Also, we filmed Princess Cut 2 and 3. Those, I just can't wait to see these films being produced. But Princess Cut 1 actually is very interesting because I watched it with my girls. And it's just a nice film for you to watch with your daughters. It's about courtship and dating, how we should find rely on how girls should rely on their parents to help them through the process, and obviously wait for the right man to come along.
I am all for that.
I'm sorry?
I am all for that.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. So I want to mention that, especially if we have girls watching, the message that I have about, your identity, that's a great one to follow up in. So I was very honored to be a part of 2 and 3 as well.
All right. Now, and you've got any future projects? Of course, I alluded to one that you can't talk about.
Right. You can't talk about that one.
You got any other projects coming up that you can't talk about?
You know how it is, of course. There is one which we had scheduled, and for whatever reason, a producer had pulled out, and we have to wait for the funding to come through. I also have, TV sitcom series that have yet to be released. I have all this footage that I can't share, and names that I can't share with you right now. I'm sorry, it's just the way that it is. I'm pretty fresh again off of this hiatus that I took, and so it's just very exciting. I can share that I auditioned for The Chosen, which is a beautiful program that I'd love to be a part of. So
yeah, that is. Well, I tell you what, there is a way that people can find out when the right time comes, and that is to perhaps follow you, follow your social media. I don't know. Is there a way people can contact you?
Well, I have. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Jeannie Garcia, and also I have a website which is www.jeanniegarcia.net.
And I'm sure then when the right time comes and you're able to share more with this, then you'll be putting it on your website, sharing it on Facebook, and that way people will know. Because, I really want people to connect with those of you that are working in the faith film industry. Not just connect with your project, not just learn about the projects, but this is why I do these interviews. I want them to connect with you personally, because once they connect with you personally, then of course they'll be interested in everything you do, and we really need for these faith films to be supported. And I just feel that the best way will be to get to know you and to get to connect with you. Unfortunately, a lot of the big networks won't really bring in people to talk to them and interview them unless they're the big superstars and it's the big movie. But from out of 100 movies that are made, only 4 or 5 really make it to become that big movie that's theatrically, and there's all these others like the ones that you're doing, and people need to know about those. And I think the best way is to again become connected to you in a more personal way, perhaps. So, I really want to encourage you folks. Go check out her website. Follow her on Facebook. And did you say Instagram also and all those social media things?
Yeah, Jeannie Garcia Acting. I appreciate that, Isaac, because we are brothers and sisters in Christ, or just brothers and sisters, and we are a community, and I think it goes beyond that, and we as actors have a purpose. So I would love to use mine to, bring others closer to God and to share hope and positivity.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to spend here with me a little bit today and with the rest of our viewers. Again, I want to encourage you to look up her website and follow her on social media. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Isaac.
We'll be right back.
Only one university in the nation was chosen to demonstrate at the World Equestrian Games, and it's the only Christian university in the South offering an equine management major. Only one university produced the video leading into coverage for the Games. And it's the only university with students hired as part of a broadcast crew for 9 Olympic Games. One university, equipping students for a lifetime of leadership and service. Asbury University. Start here, impact the world.
Cell reproduction, more than duplication. It's careful selection and organization, ensuring the perfect balance for development and growth. Powerful, so is our programming. Parables, the leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. I want to thank you for joining us for today's program. And I'm very grateful to Jeannie for allowing herself to share so deeply from her life and how God turned her life around from being bullied to now being a successful Christian actor on faith-based films. Write her a little email, let her know that you're praying for her, then you're thinking of her, and that she's impacted your life in some way today. Also want to remind you to write this program. Write me. I want to hear from you. I really want to emphasize that I'd like to hear from you today. Let me know how you like the programs. Let me know if you don't like the programs, but certainly would like to hear from you. It's very simple. Simply write faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv and at gmail.com. And of course, you can always follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. That's at Faith on Film TV. Until next week, remember, if you want to maintain a healthy soul, you got to ingest some good, healthy entertainment. So until next week, take care.